Hello Team Acne subscribers, old and new. Maybe you just found the channel, hopefully you subscribe. I just got out of the shower, just got back from a workout. I'm feeling very zen, so maybe I will be very calm throughout this video. But you clicked on this because you want to know how I finally cleared my severe acne after 7 years. And if you don't know me, my name is Brian Turner, and I had extremely severe acne to the point that, I'd have 5, 6 nodular cysts on my face at all times. I literally had so many blackheads on my forehead, on my nose, that I could just take both my hands and squish them and like 20 would be coming out at the same time. I literally had such bad acne that my whole life was basically revolving around that acne. Every single day whenever I wanted to go do something, that was the first thing that I would think of, is I gotta go to the mirror, gotta go check this acne, gotta go see how bad it is. I have a speech coming up. Is my acne going to cause another cyst before that speech, or will I be able to just narrowly escape it and get a cyst the day after, right? And so if you're in that situation, I know exactly how you feel. I'm very passionate about this subject, and it's because I am empathetic and I understand what you're going through. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to talk to you guys about how I eliminated it. I had it for probably the worst of it was about 2 or 3 years. That was like the very, very worst, but I started getting acne when I was about 15 years old. And over the course of 7, 8 years, I was able to get rid of it through a couple different discoveries. So when I first started getting my acne, now I know it's because I was intaking lots of dairy. So I was consuming 150 grams or so of whey protein every single day. And I was also eventually, I got to a point where I was going from, a couple cups of milk, a couple glasses, whatever, every day, into a point where I got to a gallon a day, because at 15, I discovered that my passion is bodybuilding, or just lifting extremely hard and getting that as an outlet for myself. And in bodybuilding, the industry, at least at the time, really, really pushed you to have a lot of protein, and a lot of protein at that time came from milk and dairy. So I was consuming so much dairy, and I didn't realize that for me personally, that was a huge trigger for nodular cysts. And you might be watching this thinking, oh, I have dairy and I don't really break out from it. That's okay. There's science that backs up that dairy does cause an increase in mTOR, which is something in your body that signals for your body to release more oil through your face. But it's different for every single person. So like some people might release a lot more oil and then cause, cystic or just whiteheads like I did. And some people might get a lot less of an effect from that. So you might be broken out more from something like, gluten or soy or whatever your allergy is. But anyways, that was what caused mine. So yeah, I need to move on from that subject. 15, 16, and that was when my acne really started getting bad, because I was really pumping in the calories from milk. I was getting up to 5,000 or so calories every single day. Got to 17 and 18 at the end of my high school career, and I was really covered in cystic acne. And at that time, I was really trying to push myself in YouTube to do really well, and so I was trying to figure out what I could do to get rid of this acne. So I did everything I could. I went through as many products as I could. I did all the topical ointments. I did all the 3-step systems that you can think of. I literally tried everything I could under the sun. I was using benzoyl peroxide like 10%, which you shouldn't do. I personally found that like 2.5% was the highest that I actually should have done. So I was causing myself to break out even more from using severe cleansers and things like that. Because if you use something that's too severe, it actually causes you acne because it irritates your skin. I went to the dermatologist eventually and was like, okay, this is the only route. I got to go to the dermatologist. The dermatologist gave me antibiotics. So he got me on minocycline first, and then that did not work. Then he put me on doxycycline. That also did not work. Both times he tried increasing the dosage like 2 or 3 different times. None of that worked. And again, I didn't know that dairy was such a huge cause of my acne, as well as many other habits and things that I was doing. I was eating very badly and stuff. But anyways, so then I eventually got to a point where I started Accutane, and he gave me all the warnings and stuff. He gave me all the stuff to read. I went on the internet, I read all the side effects, read about all the bad things that can happen from Accutane. But at that moment in my life, I wanted to do anything I could to get rid of the acne, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching right now feel exactly how I felt. So I know what you're watching this video for. I understand, and we're getting to the point. So just bear with me for a few more minutes here as I kind of tell you the story. I took Accutane for in total, I took it for about 78 weeks, I believe, and I took it for about 20-30 weeks, and we didn't see anything happening. And so he gave me suggestions. He said, make sure you're eating with lots of fat, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. It's basically a high derivative of vitamin A, and so it needs to be taken with fat so that it can be absorbed the best. And so I got to a point where I was taking like 50 grams of fat per each time I was taking it. I was taking it in the morning, at night. Still wasn't doing anything, so I kept upping my dose. I went from 20 to 40 milligrams a day up to 240 or 260 milligrams a day. So I had stacks of this Accutane, and I'll go through my Accutane story in a completely different video. So yeah, we won't talk too much about that. But eventually, around week 50 or 60, it did start taking small effects, and mostly I could tell that it was, at least being absorbed by my body, because I was getting really bad side effects. I was getting cracked lips, I was bleeding from the face, going out in the sun, I'd get sunburned in like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, joint pain, stiff back, all sorts of issues. My dog's running around playing, so you hear in the background. But basically what happened is my doctor was like, this is one of the highest doses that I've ever seen anyone do. I've never seen anyone do it this long by far. And so he was concerned. He was trying to figure out what could help. And in America, in dermatology, they can't tell you what to eat, but he was eventually like, hey, maybe take whey protein powder out. I've seen a lot of other bodybuilder fitness kids take out whey protein bars and whey protein powders, and they've seen an improvement. So he just kind of like mentioned it without saying like that's for sure the thing that's causing you to have acne. My dog is digging holes. Cobes, hey, what are you doing? Maybe stop digging holes, baby. Okay, yeah, back to the video. So I took the whey protein powder out, and that was when the Accutane finally started doing its job. Week 55 through 70, I was like, oh, okay, yes, we're clearing up. Like, I'm seeing an improvement finally. I still have my blackheads, but the cysts are going a little bit more away. I have maybe 1 or 2 every single day. Like every day I have 1 or 2 that are still on me, instead of having like, 5 to 8. And so I was like, okay, we got to the end of Accutane, and my face was almost completely clear, and then we got off of it because it's really damaging for your liver. It's really bad for your body, so we wanted to get off it as soon as possible, as soon as we thought it was mostly clear as it could get. Got off of it, and then I still wasn't taking whey protein and stuff like that, but I was having small amounts of dairy, right? You have like whatever, like you have sour cream and onion Lay's chips or something like that. It's not necessarily, you're not thinking about it having dairy, you're thinking about it being like a potato chip. So you're like, yeah, you're avoiding cheese or something like milk cream or something like that, but you're not really thinking too much about little things. Slowly my acne started coming back, and I didn't realize it, but I was testing myself and being like, hey, maybe I can have like a whey protein bar here or there, because these companies send me lots of whey protein bars for free. Don't want to waste them. They're really delicious. It's a great way to get protein in. And so I slowly started inducting whey protein back into my diet, so I'd have maybe 1 protein bar every couple of days, and of course, like I was saying, I'd have a little bit of milk just from having whatever food it was that would have just a little bit here or just a little bit there, and my acne started coming back, and I was devastated. Like it was terrible, because I thought I'd gotten rid of it after all this struggle, after taking the thing that is literally a chemotherapy drug. If you didn't know, Accutane was started as a chemotherapy drug. It's that bad for you. My acne started coming back. I was terrified. So I thought, okay, what worked when the Accutane started kicking in? What was I doing? I took out the whey. What is whey derived from? Dairy. So what can I do? I can try and be as meticulous as possible and take out all the dairy that I can. So I did that. It took a little bit to really get meticulous on it. Over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, I got rid of everything, and then I would sneak in like a little protein bar here or there and just be like, it's probably fine because I haven't seen any cysts in a while. And then the next day, within 24 to 48 hours, I've said this many times, the cyst would be back. I'd get a little pressure point, and I'd be like, oh, it's not going to be anything. And then the next day, and then boom, it's just huge. And so I basically found that through experimentation, I personally was not able to get away with any dairy at all. And I'm telling you, to this day, I'm plant-based, but if I did eat any dairy, I guarantee you I would have a cyst within the next 24 to 48 hours. So ultimately, what did end up eliminating my acne for the most part, I get a couple pimples here and there due to other things. There are other factors than just dairy. I ended up getting rid of my acne, the majority of it. In addition to just the dairy, I also slowly transferred my diet, because at the time when I was getting my acne, I was a young kid, and I was getting, processed food. I was eating tons of microwave food. I was eating lots of like frozen dinner, beef stroganoff things, and bagel bites, and all that kind of, stuff. And yeah, you're a kid, so it's not like something you really think about, right? You're not really a good cook. You just eat. So I was eating lots of oven-baked lasagnas and all this kind of stuff, and blah, 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 blah. And so slowly over the years of getting a little bit older, I learned how to cook for myself a little bit more. So now, over the course of the last 5-10 years, I've really improved the amount of whole foods that I eat in my diet. I would say now I mostly eat 90% whole foods with maybe 10% processed foods. And at the time when I was having my acne, even after I had taken dairy out, I was still eating probably 80% of my diet was coming from processed foods, and only 20% or so was coming from whole foods. So dairy, number one. 2, I would say processed foods, getting rid of those helped a lot, because I'd say a lot of processed foods have a lot of preservatives and a lot of weird stuff and a lot of hidden ingredients that you don't want in your body that aggravate your gut. Your gut has a lot to do, your gut health has a lot to do with your acne. So if you have bad gut health, that can be really bad. Having those processed foods can really increase the bad bacteria in your gut and decrease the good bacteria in your gut. And so moving over to whole foods, we've been able to kind of change the balance of my gut health. I also used to have tons and tons of artificial sweeteners, and I don't mean again, a lot of you guys don't know me, but I was a very savage person. I go all in when I go in on things. I still do, but I'm much smarter about it with my health. I was having a box of Splenda every single week. I don't know if you know how big a box is. I believe it was 76 servings of Splenda every single week. So that's like 15 servings a day. I was having a lot. And that's, again, really bad for your gut health. So that was another thing that I was doing. And also, in addition to that, I also increased, after I got off the dairy, I was like, well, vegetables undoubtedly are good for you. Nobody can really argue with that, and I wasn't having a lot of vegetables. I wasn't having a lot of fruit either. So I was like, let's increase the vegetables that I ate. I did a little thing where maybe you've seen some content I've put up before that's gone viral. Maybe you've seen, I was very lucky and was able to be on television on the doctors, and one of the messages that I really push is get rid of the dairy and then increase your vegetables and do something called super dosing vegetables, at least in the beginning, to help your body absorb as much minerals and vitamins and get your gut health back to good as possible. So I was having 12 to 16 servings of vegetables a day. And the types of vegetables, people always ask this, are the most bitter green cruciferous vegetables. So I would have tons of green beans, I'd have tons of asparagus, I'd have tons of spinach, I would have tons of broccoli. Those are the main ones that I would have. But then also, things like carrots and bok choy, cilantro, Brussels sprouts, things that when you're a kid, you're like, vegetables. So I was trying to force myself to eat those as much as possible. And as you eat those more and you move away from those really saturated processed foods, your taste buds do change. And now, I actually really enjoy vegetables, and I can feel my body literally tells me that I don't feel as good when I haven't had vegetables for a while. And then when I do, I feel excellent. So getting rid of dairy, upping that vegetable intake a ton. Also those other things that I mentioned. And then increasing my water intake and removing all of their liquid intakes for the most part. I mean, I guess almond milk is the only other liquid that I have at the moment. I have about 2 cups a day. But other than that, I literally drink only water. That is it. Back then, I was drinking tons of Diet Mountain Dews. I was drinking tons of Diet whatever. I was having, lots of Monsters, things like that. Those have tons of different weird things in them. Again, gut health. It's a huge thing, and I'll go more into gut health and things like that in the future, but I'm just trying to tell you all the things that have changed since getting my acne to really be under control and cleared up. I'd say that those are the majority, the major things. I haven't changed the way that I work out. I still work out 5 to 6 days a week. I still do a bit of cardio when I'm bulking. I do a lot more cardio when I am dieting. A lot of the smaller factors are not ones that I'm going to mention in this video, but I will make those a video in the future, or if you want to see them right now, you can go to my main channel, Brian Turner. You can search Brian Turner, 3 easy, medium, and hard things you can do to eliminate your acne. So what I mean by those little things would be when you're washing your hair in the shower, instead of letting the shampoo and conditioner and stuff get into your face, you have to lean back and wash it out backwards so that it doesn't get anywhere in your face. Taking out hair supplements and wax in my hair, like that crew wax that I would use in my hair, I would sweat and then that would get into my pores and cause me to break out. Changing my pillow sheets, my bed sheets and my pillow sheets or covers or whatever as often as possible, maybe every couple days. Things like that really helped as well, but I wouldn't say that those are the major factors. The things that I've already listed are the major things that have changed for me since being able to get my acne under control. Now I am able to have a lot more leeway. So for example, if I do go over to plant Plant Power fast food and I go have a big thing of French fries with a bunch of sauces all over it, and I have some nachos and all this like weird processed foods, I do get away with it a lot more. So by changing a lot of these major factors, you bring your likelihood level of having cystic breakouts and big bad breakouts down, so you can get away with a little bit more things. Like if you go a couple days without vegetables and not drinking as much water as you should, you'll get away with it a lot more than if you're also doing all those, you're doing things that are violating all the bad codes of getting you bad acne, and you're not doing anything, you're not doing those major things that I've just mentioned to help control your acne. Those little things you'll find cause you acne a lot quicker, touching your face and like all the other things that I've mentioned. That's it. I don't want to ramble too much more because I'm sure this video is already over 10 minutes, and I hope I haven't lost your attention span. I feel like this has been pretty snappy. I think I haven't been babbling too much. I think I've been keeping to the point. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I have plenty more coming. This is just my major overarching story because I know a lot of you guys are new, haven't seen my original story from my main channel. A lot of you guys, there's over 60% of you that don't follow the main channel, which is awesome. We're creating our own community here on Team Acne. So that's the major story. Those are some of the main things that you should look into. I would love to hear any questions you have in the comments below. If you have any other topics you'd like me to address, please leave them in the comments below. We're gonna do tons more content. There's lots more coming. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, you have to do that. Make sure you click the bell so you get notifications, because there's way more content coming, and it's all based on acne and all based on love. You're beautiful. You're not alone. You are part of Team Acne, and I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.